Way Up with Angela Yee. And as promised, when I saw Jazlyn Martin in LA, we have you here on Way Up with Angela Yee, a real official sit down.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that we made that happen because, man, the BT media room was hectic.
That was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot.
What's going on?
I think I did. How many interviews did I do? 32.
In one day?
In 2 days. I was like, this is too much, and I need to
I gotta go home.
Yeah, and no, but I also like the opportunity to really sit down because it's a lot for you too.
Yeah.
Like bouncing around, doing a million interviews,
all day.
and a lot of times people do have to answer like the same questions over and over again.
Right.
Like, how do I say this differently?
Yeah, and this is more intimate, more fun, more individual. So.
And I had a chance to start watching Bel-Air season 3. Which is
what
great.
What do you think?
Well, first of all, glad you're there because I remember when the last season ended, they weren't sure. They were like, is Jackie's character coming back? I'm still, I think, as most of us are, trying to figure out what is going to be the best scenario.
Yeah.
Is Will going to stay with Lisa? Is he going to move on with Jackie?
Yeah.
And there's some mystique about you, too. Like, you open up a little, but we're not quite sure what Jackie's real story is.
Yeah.
You know,
For sure.
so for you being able to play that role, how has that been life changing? Because you've been acting already, but this is a pretty nice, lituation, that show.
No, for sure. I think just the platform and just the legacy the show already carries on. So to be able to do a reimagination is beautiful. And yeah, I think Jackie's very mysterious. It's like we know she has some brokenness. We know she's confident. We know she dances, but we don't know too much about her. So I'm very excited to explore more of, her childhood, how she grew up, what she's been through. Because I think a lot of people just see how she wants to present herself and not like who she actually is.
Yeah, she plays a little bit hard to get, but when they first, I remember when her and Will first met, I was like, okay, this could be cute for him.
I think Will needs to be single. That's what I think.
I think he's in love
no
with
one.
He is in love with Lisa, but
Yeah.
You know what I think people tend to forget in that scenario, he did go after his cousin's woman, that is Carlton's ex, right, Lisa, and that's kind of foul.
A little bit.
And I think people don't think about that still anymore, like the fact that was your cousin's woman, and then Carlton got on drugs, and that's probably part of it. I don't know.
There's a lot. There's a lot
to unpack when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But so far we haven't seen. Well, we did see one situation where you got a little drunk.
Yes. Yes. See, and I created that was my mom's anniversary of when she left, and that's why I got drunk that night. But we don't really dive into much about her past. But yeah, she grew up with both parents being gone, so she looks to be loved, and I think Will loves her well, and the best way she knows how. So she tries to latch on to that, and of course her uncle was there, but he wasn't too present, I believe.
He's a little grimy.
He
feels like
he on the streets a little bit.
Yeah, he has something to him.
Yeah.
But, in addition to doing this, you've also been doing, and last thing to back up into the dancing that Jackie does, you also got to choreograph on the show, too.
Yes, I did.
So how exciting was that for you? Because you were able to merge two things that you do together.
My two loves. It was an honor. I got to bring a little Jazlyn into Jackie, and Jackie got to bring out a little more jazz. So it was beautiful to be like, all right, I'm going to put both of these art forms into one.
How was it getting casted for the show?
Oh my gosh. You want me to tell you the whole story?
Yes, I do. I do want to hear it.
Yes, that's exactly
this is interesting.
I
Okay.
remember it was on Wilshire Boulevard. I was looking for parking because it's Beverly Hills and I don't want to get a ticket. And I walked in and there was another girl in the room. Actually, no, I was by myself and I heard another girl on Zoom and I heard them giving her notes and I was like, okay, bet. Do that. Okay, got you. And then some more girls came in, and this was for the callback too. So I did a self-tape, and then they wanted me to do it in person, and then I met Jabari, and we started going, and I started improvising because I was like, screw it, and they're like,
go for it.
oh, she a little spicy, and I was like, yeah, and they were asking me where I was from, and I felt really good at it, I felt at peace. I was like, even if I don't get it, I felt like I went in there and did my best, and that's all I can do. And so I was waiting a couple days, and my agent was like, we should be hearing back today. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to take myself on a walk, go get some food, distract myself. And he calls me, and he's like, hey, Jazz. I'm like, hi. He's like, so they made a decision, and you're Jackie.
Wow.
And I was like, are you playing with me? I can't breathe. And I did a little tear.
That's exciting.
And he's like, yeah, this is going to change your life for sure. So
man, I can't even imagine having to go on auditions and do, like, how many auditions would you say you've been on?
Probably in the 300s, something like that. Yeah.
How do you keep your spirits up? Because I know that's not an easy job. Like, I've never been on an audition, but I've always heard about, like, how, you know, it can be so many, like, callbacks. You have your heart and your hopes up to get a role, and then a lot of times it doesn't happen. And that's no, like, offense to your craft or what it is that you do or how great you are. But it's just, you know, what it is.
It's life, and it's very human for us not to enjoy rejection. So it's like,
right.
You know, it's like after all the no's, it's like, how do you keep going? But I really like to remind myself that rejection is God's protection. And if it's not for me, then it's not meant for me. There's some things that just aren't in your control. So I just go in and do my best. And I think having a really strong foundation and a strong purpose as to why I do this keeps me going.
Right.
Because if I wasn't strong in that, I'd be like, all right, I'm just going to give up. This is the 50th no, but that 51 could be a yes. So it's like, that's my reason to keep going.
I love that you were very open about that, because I know people will watch this and be like, oh yeah, they don't understand the grind behind how you got to where you are. You know, not that this is your first role, you've had other roles, but to even know that, like, she's been on, you know, hundreds of auditions and you don't land every role.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, like you said, you have a strong foundation. So your parents, right? Your mom was a dancer and your dad a musician?
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about being raised that way in the arts.
I love my parents. Shout out to my parents.
That's good. We love to hear that.
Yes. Happy home. So my mom grew up being a dancer and my dad was signed to a record label. He didn't love the music industry, so he very early on educated me on how evil and corrupt it could be. And he's like, you just got to really love it. So he poured into me. All my music comes from him, like Prince, Music Soul Child, D'Angelo, Jill Scott, all the greats came from him. So they were always extremely supportive of what I wanted to do. Even, you know, they're like, you don't want to go to college, or if you just want to, they're just
That's
extremely.
great, because they understood.
They understood. And it's, you know, given me a couple steps forward, because I know a lot of people don't have supportive parents. And I think the reason why I think I can do what I do is because of them, for sure.
Right.
They've planted that confidence in me.
And it's interesting because your EP that is coming out is called Identity Crisis.
Yes.
Now discuss that title with me, because like you said, you have a strong foundation, loving parents who understood what it is that you want to do, that were supportive of that.
Yeah.
But yet identity crisis.
Yes.
So let's discuss that identity crisis.
Yes. So I think growing up, I had a very strong sense of my identity. You know, I was very strong, full of joy, attitude, and I feel like everyone has gone through things and experiences and people that make you question who you are. It's like, damn, why did I just do that? That's not me. Whoa, you know, and it kind of forces you to dim your light. So I wanted to, you know, speak on my behalf on the different conflicts I have in my head and the different things I've experienced. Like, do I follow the world or do I follow God? Do I be a bad bitch? You know, how society is promoting that? Or do I just be me and be comfortable and love who I am as I am? So just different things that, you know, I think I've battled, and a lot of people don't really showcase what it is to go through an identity crisis. And I think everyone has gone through it and continues to go through it, no matter age or ethnicity or gender. You know, we're always trying to figure out who we are.
It's kind of like evolving too, because who you are also changes
all the time,
you know. And so yeah, I can definitely attest to that. That's interesting that you say that, because you can't be a bad bitch who follows God.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like the world's like, you got to choose. You got to choose one. And it's like, what if I want to be all of them? So.
And your first song that you did was Perfect, right?
Yes.
It's called Perfect. Now, I want to discuss that song, because the lyrics, did you write that song yourself?
Yes, with also Sage White and Trey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, that song, the lyrics are beautiful.
Thank you.
And it's also something that a lot of us, I think, deal with, just being open and vulnerable about the lyrics to that song, because you talk about, you know, sometimes you're scared because we're not perfect at all. And there's a lot of flaws that we have. And so talk to me about what was going through your head while you were writing this. You said your pedestal was crumbling beneath your feet.
Yeah. I think as a society, we have a really hard time giving people grace. And I think the cancel culture is a really big thing. I don't love it. I don't promote it. I think people fall and we should help them get up.
Right.
And I feel like, yeah, I think men have put me on a pedestal. I think society's put me on a pedestal. Women are expected to be perfect. And when we're not, it's like, damn, do we deserve to be loved then?
Right.
Like, are we still going to be wanted if you do see my secrets and my flaws? So I just kind of wanted to be vulnerable, which is something I'm not very great at, for my first song, and kind of expose that. Like, I may look like I got it all together, but like, I'm still human. So don't rob that from me by labeling me as perfect.
Yeah, that's there's a lot to unpack with that too, because you're right, because a lot of times we also don't like to show how human we really are.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes being in the public eye, things can bother you, it can hurt you. You could be not happy with, you know, what you had on a certain day, or how you looked on a certain day, or even just, you know, just this business is tough and people are always critiquing you for superficial things too. You know, instead of paying attention to like not knowing if you've had a terrible day or if somebody's going through something, you just don't know what it is. I was looking at this post on Instagram. This guy was in the airport and he was having like a breakdown because I don't know if you saw it. It was viral. I guess the doors closed for the plane, and he was like, I need to see my mom, and people were laughing at him. I was like, you don't know what's really going on though. Like, you don't know if there's some like issue that he needs to, and they're not going to open the doors of the plane anyway, so it doesn't matter.
His mom could be sick, like
right?
anything.
You don't know what's going on, but people love to make jokes out of everything.
Yeah, I think it's very easy to judge when you don't know. So I wanted to encourage people to give people grace, and like you said, it's like, especially when you're in the eye, you always have to be on. Like, you can never have an off day, you can never mess up, and I'm like, that's just not human, that's not realistic, and like, just an unrealistic burden to carry. And I don't want to be perfect. I love that I mess up. That's where I grow. That's where I learn.
And you decided to, so now jumping into music, that's a whole another thing. Yeah. So how does it feel? Because Perfect, it seems like it was well received from people when they heard it. It's really beautiful to listen to. You have a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
Too. And I like the lyrics, just listening to it and getting like the deeper meaning of all of that. But how is that for you? Because that's a whole nother, like, she
world.
actually dances and now you sing.
Yeah. I've always been shied away from singing, I'm sorry. Just because people always knew me as a dancer, and I'm like, okay, bet I have to choose one thing, identity crisis. You know, like, I can only be a dancer. I can't be a singer and an actor. So now transitioning into this world, it's drastically different. Like, every day there's something more I have to do. Like, the process it's rough.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It's a rough industry. But my dad prepared me for this. So I just gotta think, like, I'm in it for the art. I'm in it for the storytelling.
So he knew at some point you would be a singer and that you would put out music.
I started dancing first and then singing immediately. So I started training when I was like 8.
Okay.
Vocal training. But I just never like put out music. I was just kept singing. But he knew this day would come, and he's very protective, and he's like, I know things about the industry that you don't, and especially because you're a woman, I want you to be very cautious. So yeah, he's laid a good foundation for me.
And then you put out They Say. Was that the second song?
Yes.
Okay. And the video. And by the way, amazing that you're able to do these great visuals too. You definitely
Bless
have.
the Lord.
Yeah.
Thank you,
that's
Jesus.
quite an advantage that you have.
Yeah.
So that looked like a fun one.
Yes, I had a great team. For that shoot. And yeah, I wanted to pay homage to LA, so I wanted to do a lot of LA spots. People in LA who know those spots, and then it's a 2000s vibe, so I wanted to, you know, go back to that. And yeah, it was just a fun shoot. And yeah, that song was...
Did you choreograph that too?
No, my boy Jaquivas did.
Okay.
He's on tour
You're
right
like,
now.
I can't do it all.
No, too much. A lot on my plate.
Sometimes I just want to follow instructions.
Yes, exactly.
Show up and be an artist.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, he did a great job. And yeah.
Where do you see as far as what it is that you envision for yourself? Because I know you're working with United Masters right now. Why did you make that decision? Because that's basically, it's kind of being independent, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to own my music, for one, and I want to have creative control. I am very much so a person that knows what they want and what the direction should be. And I never want anyone telling me to be something else.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think music is an expression of my soul, and I want to be the one to be like, this should come out, and this is me, as opposed to cultivating to what they think would be popular or a hit. And Ahmad, who reached out to me for United Masters, he just resonated with the project, and he was like, this is one of the greatest projects I've heard in a really long time.
Oh, I know. That felt good.
I was like, you don't got to lie to me. Don't do that. I know you want me, but you don't got to lie. And he was like, nope, I don't get paid enough to lie. And I was like, that's fair. That's fair. So, yeah, I love when people connect with the project.
Was that the only, like, was there any other considerations?
There were, but that was the one that really stood out, that I was like, yeah, this is the one.
Okay. And how involved is your father in, since you said he's been kind of getting you ready for this time in your life? So now how involved is he as decisions are being made? Is it a dadager situation?
No.
Okay.
I want to keep business and the family separate.
No.
Sometimes he gets a little involved. He's like, I think you should do this. I said, Dad, I like it like this, so we're going to leave it like this. Is that okay? He's like, okay, yep, this is your music. So he's involved with some critiques, but he actually produced one of the songs on the EP.
I was going to ask you that next. Is he doing music with you?
Yes, he did Stuck in the Middle, which is the interlude. So, yeah, he produced that one.
And so the project is out on August 30th,
yes.
right? That's still the release date, right before Labor Day weekend.
Yes.
So we love that for you. And how many songs are on the EP? Because I know Fruit is out, right? Well, about to come out.
Yes.
I don't think it's out yet.
No, not yet.
Okay,
so all of it's going to drop on the 30th, and there's 7 songs.
Okay, 7 songs.
Yeah, 7.
Ooh, and that's exciting to share this art with the world. It feels like also from when you put your first single out to now, that's a pretty quick release. So you can do what you want.
Yeah. I was anxious. I was like, I just want to get my music out, and then it was really my team that like, you have to do a rollout when it comes to this stuff. And I was like, why? Let's just put it out. And so yeah, they've been very gracious with me and helping me learn about rollouts. So, but yeah, 7 songs, and the last song is like a bluesy, gospel-ish type of song.
Wow.
It's very big. That's how I explain it. It's very big and raw and vulnerable.
What's it about? Can we get a little?
It's about so many things. It's called Lead Me to Love. And it's basically, it's kind of deals with self-hate. And I wrote it when I felt like I wasn't myself. And when I was just like, ashamed of myself, and it's basically like lead me back to God, because God is love, so lead me back to myself. And yeah, it's just feeling broken and sad, and just like I don't like me right now.
What was it about yourself that you didn't like? Like, what was happening?
So much was happening. That's a great question. I think like a lot of personal things, how I handled certain situations, I wasn't proud of, and a lot with, family and friends. And it was a big change in my life. I think this was during like the show. So it was like so many new transitions in my life that I was like, ooh, this is a lot. I don't know how to navigate through this. So
that is a tough time though, because things will change as you get a lot more going on, and I'm sure you were really busy during that time. Yeah. But but you said you didn't like how you handled it. Accountability is important too.
For sure.
Instead of saying, oh, forget them, you didn't like certain ways that you were acting.
Yeah.
Which is different, because a lot of people would be like, man, forget them. Like,
no, I'm not like that. I'm very I'm very hard on myself. And I like to think I move through the world with light and love, and so when I don't reflect that, I'm like, damn, I'm a bad person. And that's where, the identity crisis comes through. Because, we all do things we're not proud of, and that's just human.
And how did you handle that?
I went to therapy.
Okay.
I started therapy.
Okay, there you go.
Yes, I did. And I just got a stronger foundation with God, and just poured into myself. I started doing like salsa classes and doing hikes and swimming, and just doing, things that,
self-care things.
Yeah. Things I used to love to do as a kid, and I was like, I want to nurture that little girl.
And did you address situations that you felt like you weren't proud of how you handled?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's in a good space.
Yes, I love those type of conversations. It allows me to grow, allows me to learn. And I'm a pretty confrontational person, so I'm very blunt. So I appreciate those conversations in a safe space.
Do you feel like you and the character of Jackie on Bel-Air, there's any, like, what do you draw from in your real life when you think about that character that you're like, okay, I can take this from how I really am and put this into this character?
That's a good question. I don't think me and Jackie are very similar, but I think I can relate to her. I think everyone can relate to another human being. I think we're both very strong-minded and confident, and we know what we want. I just think Jackie has had to go through things that I haven't had to go through, and the way she survives looks different than me.
Okay.
You know, I haven't really had a survival mindset growing up. I was allowed to be a child, but I don't think Jackie was given that luxury. I think she was always, growing up in South Central with no parents. It's like it's kill or be killed.
I feel like we're going to see a lot happening in this season that we don't know about yet, just based off of these answers.
I don't think you'll see anything crazy, but yeah, I think she is very mysterious, and people are like, I want to know more about her, and I think she's just very closed off.
What is some crazy things that have happened to you since the show and the success of Bel-Air?
Oh, probably Tokyo. I was in Tokyo with my friend, and I was eating at a mall, and some girl came up to me. She's like, can I take a picture with you? And I was like, first thing I'm like, because I'm black? Because y'all don't got no black people here. And then she saw my confusion. She was like, I watched the drama, Bel-Air. And I said, oh, I was like, in Tokyo? What are you guys doing?
That's amazing, though.
Crazy.
How small the world is now.
Crazy.
With so much access that we have to, just think about streaming services weren't always around and they weren't always global the way that it is now. That's good. Look at you, a superstar in Tokyo.
I was like, okay, girl. Thanks for watching.
Now, would you tell Jackie to pursue Will, or would you say, girl, leave him alone? If that was your homegirl and you were giving her advice.
That's a good question. That's a great question.
Or would you say, go link up with Carlton instead?
Ooh!
Get your lick
back. I told him, I was like, Carlton and Jackie should, since, but I would probably respectfully be like, girl, it's time to go a different way.
Right. He's playing games.
And it's like, you don't need that. You need safety. You want to feel loved. You want to feel wanted. And
it's messy with your uncle, too.
But that's my uncle's fault. I don't think Jackie was messy. I think Jackie tried to handle it the best way possible.
But it is a bad situation to be in the middle of, too.
Yeah. And to put a 17-year-old girl in that, and with emotions and feelings involved, it's going to get messy. But I don't think it was her fault. I don't think she had bad intentions.
Not her fault. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'd be like, friend, I want you to feel wanted. And he clearly wants someone else. And he might want her. I think he does still, but it's like, you got to make a decision.
He wants both. It feels like. I think both of them fulfill a certain need for him.
For sure.
He probably feels, a sense of connection with Jackie's character just because of how he grew up.
Exactly.
And where she is now, and him not having his father present in his life and being raised by his aunt and uncle.
Yeah. It's like two unlovable characters finding love in each other. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, but then maybe Lisa's more stable for him.
Yeah. I think Will just needs to be single and figure himself out.
Well, we're going to see what's going to happen on Bel-Air, but we just need to make sure that Jackie's back for the next season, too. Yeah. That's what really matters. We got to make sure you hang in there. If you got to link up with someone else or whatever is going to happen.
Just hook up with everyone.
We need to keep it going. But again, the album, the EP is out. We're calling it EP, but 7 songs, that's almost an album.
Almost.
So that means the album's coming soon too.
Hopefully, following. Okay. Yeah.
And once you put this out, are you planning to do some live shows, go on tour?
Yeah, definitely planting seeds to do live shows and tours, whatever God has in store for me.
Who's been the most amazing person that's reached out to you musically at this point? Because I see people in your comments.
Musically?
That's like, yo, let's collab. Or have you reached out to anybody?
Maybe you guys know. I mean, there's a feature on the project who's great.
Okay. All right.
Are we allowed to say the feature?
It's coming out on Friday, y'all.
Yeah, it's a great feature. He's amazing. Amazing songwriter, amazing artist. So, R&B.
Okay.
Male.
Can I wait to see what this is all about?
Yeah.
What city? What's it? All right, let me stop trying to get it.
San Diego.
Okay, from
San Diego. No. Yeah. Born in San Diego.
All right, let me Google.
St. Pete.
Florida?
All right.
The entire United States of America.
Well, listen, and what are the goals for you now? Because you've been knocking them down. You know, you've been doing your dancing, you've been doing your choreography, you've been acting, you're singing, you're writing. What is the ultimate for you?
Oof. I don't know. Yeah, I always like the quote, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans.
Right.
So, I mean, I definitely have dreams, but, you know, I think wherever the wind carries me, you know, whatever makes me happy in the moment, music's really doing that for me right now. So I'm really giving my all to music, whether that be tours or shows, or it'd be a movie. I would love to do like a musical movie.
Now that's perfect. See, now there you go. That would mix everything in together. I think you'll be amazing at that.
A musical movie.
Maybe one of those live, you know how they do the live action? I can see you doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's put it in the atmosphere.
You hear that? It's out there.
And again, thank you so much for coming through. I know we ran into each other and we, you know, didn't have much time and everybody was being pulled in different directions, but I appreciate you keeping your word and coming up here for this sit down.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
All right,
Truly.
so we're going to be listening for this EP. I cannot wait to see who this San Diego, Florida person collab is on the project, but congratulations to you on everything. You've really been killing it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, it's Way Up.
Way up.